Y'all need the practice, y'all need the practice. Driving like a Franklin, shooting like a Franklin. Y'all need the practice, y'all need the practice. Walking like a Franklin, smoking like a Franklin. Franklin, 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 still. Franklin, 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 still. Chef from the Sora.
Hey everybody, welcome back to our channel. I'll be reacting to X3023 versus Marlene. I got no idea who either. Well, I don't know who X23 is, but I'll just side with Marlene because I still remember. I do remember from Cartoon Fight Club she did this character right here versus some other character I can't remember. I'll probably put the thumbnail up right now. But yes, I don't know who either of these two characters, so I'm just gonna get through this pretty quick. But without further ado, guys, let's get on with this video right now.
Welcome to Showoff.
It's been a while since I actually watched this.
In this series, the fighters are called Showoff, and this is the series for the Showoff Showdown. Now let's meet the Showoffs for tonight's showdown, shall we? Tonight, we have a battle between the clone daughter of Wolverine and the clone sister of Katana. That's right, X23 versus Mileena. Which of these two vicious, female, animalistic, yet ironically attractive killing machines will rip the other apart first? Well, I'll say this much. Only one of them will walk away from this brutally epic bloodbath in one piece. I put links to the analysis on both characters in the description below. Now without further ado, it's time for the Showoff to Showdown!
Get ready for the next
ass though. I mean, I just want to watch the fight. Original animation? Ooh. They probably stole this.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, Poe.
I think I prefer the masked.
Oh my gosh, Tigress and Poe. No! Tired of this animation. I've seen this way too many times. No, not this, not them two, but not similar, spot on simulation. The animation is going. Watch episode 34 with Mars versus that one pixel I can't remember. Of Cartoon Fight Club. And if you actually are determined to say, oh yeah, no, this is not a copy, go into his other showdown. And tell me you have not seen this animation way too many times. I'm sorry, bro. I like animation and all. You either try to animate something of your own or just hold off the episode until the animation. Jesus fuck! Not the tits!
Finish her! Fatality.
Well, Mileena's sister lost to an elf, and now she loses to a Wolverine.
Damn
now
it!
let's discuss how and why X23 wins this beautifully brutal epic showdown. First off, let's discuss who is more skilled and experienced. Now, believe it or not, Mileena is physically 10,000 years old, despite looking like a young adult, so I think it's safe to say that Mileena definitely has more experience. Now, Mileena is also arguably more skilled in martial arts as well, but X23 is still very skilled in her own right. And in fact, not only is she a lot smarter and more clever than she looks, but she can quickly make up strategies on the fly, she knows the weak points on a human body, her super senses allow her to predict her opponent's actions and detect people's motives and emotions, even when fighting opponents such as Wolverine and Taskmaster, and she never plays around with her opponent and aims to end the fight as quickly as possible. So while Mileena's skill and experience experience might be higher in numbers, X-23's skills and combative capability will give her a good edge as well, especially since Mileena is mentally unstable and pretty delusional despite her intelligence, so X-23 shouldn't have much of a problem finding a way around her. Now let's discuss strength. Now Mileena is definitely a lot stronger than she looks. In fact, she is said to match the strength of a Shoken, who are among one of the strongest races in the Mortal Kombat universe. Not only that, but her razor-sharp Tarkaden teeth can rip through tough flesh, bone, metal, and armor, and she can break and shatter bones with ease, can lift Shao Kahn's Wrath Hammer and fatally injure Reiko with it, and she's even strong enough to shatter a titanium symbol in one swing. Now, after measuring the overall size of this symbol, including height, width, shape, structure, etc., and then slowing the footage down to frame by frame to observe how precisely it was shattered, as well as which fragments were separated and sent flying upon impact, and then doing a few other contributing measurements and calculations, the amount of force required to shatter this titanium symbol would require roughly about 63,000 psi, or 31.5 tons of force per square inch.
Holy shit!
No doubt that's very impressive. Now as for X-23, she's strong enough to snap off a piece of the Eiffel Tower and use it as a weapon, can break through armored glass like it was nothing, toppled rocks like a large man literally made of rocks, and even held her own against the Hulk and managed to blind him. Although that was probably more due to her claws than just her strength alone, but I'll talk more about that later. Now let's discuss speed. Now Mileena is quite fast in her own right, being superhumanly flexible and acrobatic. She can easily catch others off guard, mostly thanks to her teleportation abilities. She possesses the same agility as Katana, being her clone sister, and she could possibly even be considered supersonic, although there is no direct confirmation on that. But even if there was, X-23 holds a clear advantage, as she has consistently shown hypersonic plus speed feats, such as dodging heavy gunfire on a daily basis, cutting down bullets in mid-flight, blitzing Taskmaster. She was said to be even faster than her father Wolverine, who is able to tag Speed Demon, and she can even identify the type of bullet that flies by her face.
What? What the fuck?
So I think X-23's reaction and combat speed gives her a good clear advantage in this category. Now let's discuss durability. Mileena is also a lot tougher than she looks, as she could take thorough blows that would normally kill a human being, such as being shot or stabbed multiple times, though there is a limit to that, falling down a trapdoor into a very deep pit. She can take hits from other very tough MK combatants, such as Shiva, who can stomp the ground hard enough to create earthquakes that send people flying off the ground, and Mileena has even gotten knocked unconscious twice by Raiden with no injuries. Now, as impressive as that is, I think it's safe to say that X-23 has shown much more impressive feats of durability, as she once tanked a building-busting explosion, got ran over by a train, got hurled several miles away and was fine, survived getting her neck snapped, shrugged off getting pummeled by a giant woman strong enough to break concrete, and can even survive the vacuum of space for some time without any protection. Not only is she incredibly tough, but just like her father Wolverine, she has a healing factor. In fact, X-23's healing factor was actually said to be superior to Wolverine's. To give some examples, she once regenerated from having her stomach blown up and all of her sweat turned into acid by a Manor manipulator, had the entire right side of her body blasted off with a bazooka, had her arm chopped off and walked it off like it was nothing, and continued to fight, reattached her legs and healed within seconds, and even healed from having her face melted off, so biting off her face is kinda out of the question.
Damn, that mixtape is so
With a healing
hot.
factor like that, Mileena's gonna have a pretty hard time finding ways to kill X-23. Now, I'm not saying that Mileena has no way at all to kill X-23. In fact, it's possible that she might actually have a way. For instance, decapitating her head could bypass X-23's healing factor, and luckily for Mileena, most of her fatality moves involve decapitation, though it definitely won't be as easy as it sounds on paper. Not only that, but X-23 would also most likely die if her brain is completely destroyed. Okay, now before somebody flat out claims that Mileena could easily kill her by stabbing a scythe through her head, that's not the case here. In fact, X-23 once expanded her claws into her brain by accident and healed afterwards. So a simple stab to the brain isn't gonna cut it. No pun intended. What I mean is, you'd actually have to like obliterate her brain or destroy it completely. From what I've seen, the only way I could see Mileena possibly killing X-23 is by using one of her deadliest fatality moves, called Man-Eater, where where she somehow literally inhales her opponent, devouring them whole and digesting them instantly, and then spitting out all the bones. I don't even know how that's physically possible, but I really don't want to find out either. However, regardless if this would be able to kill X-23 or not, it's highly unlikely that Mileena would do this in mid-battle for three reasons. 1. Fatality moves are commonly used to finish off the opponent and not something that's casually used in the middle of a fight. 2. Even if Mileena does use them in mid-battle, her deadliest attacks will require her to be a lot more precise and put in a lot more strength and effort than her casual fighting moves. But unfortunately, it's going to be very hard for Mileena to be that precise.
Oh god, the Kirby ability! The Kirby inhale ability!
It would most likely dodge and outmaneuver Mileena at every turn. And 3. Regardless of those first two reasons, X-23's body is a lot harder to penetrate or rip apart than most of the combatants in Mortal Kombat, which is another major obstacle that Mileena will be highly unlikely to get past. So I think it's safe to say that X-23's healing factor will have Mileena pretty stumped. Now finally, let's discuss weaponry. Mileena's signature weapons are her sais, which can not only pierce through even the toughest flesh or armor, but she can also charge them up with magical energy for a more devastating attack. Now as impressive as that sounds, let's compare them to X-23's adamantium claws. 2 claws in each hand and 1 claw on each foot. Yeah, not really much of a contest here if you think about it. We're talking about the same metal that her father Wolverine has, which is virtually indestructible and can cut through just about anything, such as Iron Man's armor and the World War II examples. Now, unlike her father Logan, only her claws are made of adamantium, while the rest of her skeleton is pretty much just bone. So she's not completely indestructible in the same way her father is. You know, I just thought of something else. If Mileena tries to use that Man-Eater or Inhale Fatality move on X-23, she wouldn't be able to digest the claws, so swallowing those wouldn't really be a good idea. But that doesn't really matter anyway, because X-23's clearly superior weapons are more than capable enough to counter Mileena's sais, as well as easily slicing through Mileena's body like butter. Enough said. So overall, while Mileena would put up a good fight, especially with her formal fighting skill and experience advantage, and while she does have some potential ways of possibly killing X-23, X-23 being physically superior in most categories, being able to outsmart and outpace Mileena at every turn, and having just the perfect weapons to get the job done, Mileena will soon run out of options until the only option left is to just stand there and let X-23 finish her. I think I've said enough. So in the end, Mileena has suffered a mortal fate. The winner of this battle is X-23.
Got any ideas for show-off showdown?
Right.
Then let me know in the comments below.
That was that.
And hopefully, I just might do them. Now,
how long is the other one?
Show-off showdown.
Oh, it's just 8 minutes. I can do this one. So, I think Sora won. Yeah, I can do this one. It's 8 minutes. It's not like... Nope.
Welcome to Show-Off Showdown! In this series, the fighters are called show-offs, and this is the series for the Show-Off Showdown! Now let's meet the show-offs for tonight's showdown, shall we? Tonight, we have a legendary epic battle between Sora versus Chrono, the two kings of RPG! I hope I didn't trigger any fan bases by saying that. I put links to the analysis on both characters in the description below. Now without further ado, it's time for the Show-Off to Showdown!
Get ready for the next battle.
Ooh, surprise.
Go!
This does not seem like your favorite kid in YouTube over here. Who animated this? I was gonna say they died. Holy shit! It seriously does not look like your favorite Canadian YouTuber animated this. Okay.
And that's 2 wins for Sora in 1 day! Or at least I'm assuming.
Now let's discuss how and why Sora wins this epic RPG showdown. Usually I would start with who is more skilled and experienced, but for this episode, let's start off with who's faster. Chrono is incredibly fast, being capable of scaling to Frog's Mazume blade, which can not only cut through mountains, which we'll get to later, but it can also create a beam of light that traveled up the Magic Cave Mountain, which is over 1,500 miles tall in only a 15th of a second. Scaling Chrono to this easily puts him over Mach 100,000 and about roughly 11% the speed of light. This is incredibly fast, but Sora unfortunately blitzes him. He's deflected many close-range lasers in a very short amount of time and can pilot the Gume ship, which can cross entire solar systems in a short amount of time, proving his reaction speed is massively faster than light. Even if you want to heavily lowball him down to just light speed, this makes his reaction speed still over 9 times greater than Chrono. Now as for power, Chrono
it's
has
the other
access to a
90%
weapon
of
known
the
as the
fast and
Chrono
light.
trigger. Roll credits. Though he's never used it to its fullest, he still has used it to move the moon and cause a solar eclipse in a mere 10 seconds. This has been calculated to require over 1.6 yotatons of TNT. That's over 20 quadrillion times more powerful than the Tsar Bomb, the most powerful nuclear explosive ever detonated. Even on a physical scale, Chrono is very impressive. He can scale to Lavos, who has consistently shown continental to planetary levels of
God
feats.
damn it!
Not only
What's
has
up with
he
the
created
scale?
attacks that spread over continents, but has also collided into the Earth from space with enough force to make the dinosaurs extinct. And his collision actually dwarfed the real-world equivalent of that same meteor. He then absorbed the energy of the Earth's core for 65 million years, which has been calculated to be enough to destroy small planets like Mercury half a dozen times over. And Lavos has even absorbed many planets before that. Lavos was also able to launch 3 rocks calculated to be the size of the United Kingdom at speeds exceeding Mach 30,000, which would require 2 yotatons of force. This solidifies Lavos as a large planetary threat, which Chronos can scale to. Yet Sora still holds a massive edge in this category, as he is capable of keeping up with Xemnas when he was powered by all the Kingdom Hearts, which is basically the essence of every world in the Kingdom Hearts universe. These worlds are represented by their own planets, stars, and solar systems, yet Sora was still able to beat Xemnas when he was powered by all of them. This puts Sora at least star level, if not multi-solar system ranges.
I was going to say universe level.
Chrono in anything he has in his arsenal.
Either universe or multi-universe
magical
level.
abilities into the mix doesn't close the gap enough to tip it in his favor. He can scale to Queen Zeal, who is able to move a mountain calculated to have a mass of 24 quintillion tons at speeds calculated at almost Mach 4600. This will require 6.37 yotatons of TNT, which is very impressive as it's enough force to blow up almost any planet in our solar system.
Really?
His greatest scale comes from being superior to low-level characters in the game, Chrono Cross, who can summon 2 meteors at speeds calculated at Mach 30,000. This will require a whopping 325 yotatons to pull off. Now that's insanely powerful, as it's more than enough to destroy even Saturn, the 2nd largest planet in our solar system, and if the attack is used twice, that would be enough power to destroy Jupiter, which is the largest planet in our solar system. Though despite this insane level of power, it's still not enough to outclass Sora's star to multi-solar system levels of attack potency. The same
it's
can
just
be said
only
for
boosting the
durability
large
as well,
planet.
with Chrono easily being able to tank large planet-level attacks from Lavos, and Sora being durable enough to tank the Kingdom Hearts powered Xemnas. So Sora holds a clear edge here as well. Now, I guess Sora doesn't hold every single advantage against Chrono. For instance, Chrono is 17 years old while Sora is only 15, meaning he's potentially more experienced. Chrono is also likely a better strategist and tactician, while Sora is pretty naive and not really the brightest. However, these small edges don't really help against someone who easily blitzes and one-shots him like Sora. Now, there are a few more things worth going over. First of all, the Green Dream, which allows Chrono to be brought back to life, but what's to stop Sora blitzing him and one-shotting him once again? Plus, it's a one-time use and shouldn't really alter the result. Yes, the Chrono Trigger has shown minor levels of reality warping by moving the moon and creating that solar eclipse, but it hasn't shown any power that Sora can't get past. It has also shown that it can revive Chrono, but it still hasn't shown its limits limit to the amount of times it can do this, or if it even has a limit at all. Besides, because of Sora's clearly superior speed, plus his ability to freeze time, I highly doubt Chrono will even get a chance to use the Chrono Trigger. Now, there are two ways to go about this. Either say the Chrono Trigger has a limited amount of times it can revive Chrono, that Sora could just keep blitzing and one-shotting him until he stops coming back, or you could say it can bring Chrono back unlimited amount of times, which would be really unfair ability to include. If one character completely outclasses the other, and the only way his opponent even stands a chance is to just keep coming back to life over and over until the stronger character dies, then the one who keeps resurrecting isn't really deserving of a win. Besides, because Sora would just be killing him every single time he comes back to life, it would technically be considered torture. Now, infinite resurrection
Torture,
is
it is!
ability to include in versus debating, as it basically guarantees that a character with this ability can never lose, so it's only fair that a character who can come back to life an infinite amount of times is considered to have lost the battle within the first death, unless the way they can keep coming back has an exploitable way to stop it altogether. For example, the gems from Steven Universe being able to reform so long as their gems are intact. Sorry our tangent went on for a while, but anyway, while Chrono would try his best to put up a good fight, Sora's complete physical edge was the key to his victory.
Boom!
So in the end, let's hope that Chrono fans aren't too triggered. At least not as much as other Toriyama characters. The winner of this battle is Sora. Now, before we wrap this up, I'd like to give a special thanks to the MLG Avocado for scripting this episode, and I'd also like to give a super special thanks and shout out to the animator of this battle, Chrono Studios. He did an excellent job animating tonight's battle, so if you like what you see, then go check out his channel and subscribe.
Your favorite Canadian YouTuber would not make an animation like that. It's too good. It's fun. It's better. Alright, so that's those two videos down. So without further ado, guys, please use your keyblade to slash that like button. Phone, computer, tablet, where you use to watch this video, slash that like button. Use your Chrono. Use the egg, basically, to freaking revive that like button back to life from that simple red to gray. And don't forget to turn on my post notification so you never miss a new video. And if you got any other videos ideas, just comment down below. And, yeah, they might come soon. Or later. Maybe later. But without further ado, guys, peace out.